We are live. Excellent. Good morning from beautiful North Fontana in the inland, let's see, Southern California's Inland Empire, where I'm anxious to get back to my little mountain town, but not ready yet. The physical therapist came yesterday, so hi, Philip. Today I'm sore and achy. Now, where's H? I forgot to turn on a light. I can't see my keyboard. So I'm going to put the computer up and reach toward a lamp. Well, anyway, yesterday I slept very late. Let's see. Very, very late. And then stuff has been happening. That's better. So I never had a chance to sit down and do a live stream here on YouTube. Well, sleeping very late is good, but my brother decided I should wake up and finally woke me up, but it was way too late. Stuff has been happening, and I need prayer for my sister-in-law, Betty. She went to the hospital with a kidney infection on Sunday night, and she's still there. And she has developed sepsis, which is very scary. It's an infection in the blood, and last night she was very delirious. Don't know whether it's from the infection or the medications. No, I have aches and pains, Philip, from the physical therapist making me do exercises. Yesterday, oh, hi, Tim. Yesterday, for the first time, he had me lift my feet when I walk and not just shuffle along the floor by sliding my feet. My hip doesn't hurt, but my muscles hurt from using them in the exercises mainly. Oh gosh. Anyway, I'm rather early this morning, but I was awake, so why not? So please pray for my sister-in-law, Betty. Doesn't look good. She had a huge kidney stone, which she passed while at the hospital, but she still has the infection, and the prognosis isn't terribly positive. And Betty is the glue that holds this family together. We really need her. I'm not cold, I'm just hugging myself with my sweater. I'll be okay. Um, I'm not quite as flexible as I'd like. I still can't put on pants, I have to wear skirts. And I bought the skirts because it's summer and it's hot. Um, I scoured yard sales and thrift stores for these long skirts with the pretty ones. Well, my leg muscles are strong enough, but um, I don't have flexibility. There are certain ways I cannot move, and other ways I'm not allowed to move. For example, I'm not allowed to cross my legs. And I was in the habit of sleeping on my right side, but that's where the hip is broken, and I don't think I would want to sleep on that side anyway, but they told me not to. And I'm not rolling onto my left side to sleep. I'm just sleeping on my back because even that, I'm allowed to sleep on my left side with a pillow between my knees, but I don't. The way I tend to toss around at night, I might end up on my right side. So I'm in a recliner chair, sleeping on my back, so I won't roll around. Anyway, what I'm working on now is more flexibility than strength. I don't do yoga because there's no way in the world that I could ever do the lotus position. My legs never have been super flexible. You know, we used to call it sitting Indian style in the Girl Scouts. I cannot do it. When I sit on the floor or the ground, I usually fold my legs so they're together, not apart, but together on one side or the other. And I do not do that thing where you stand on your head either. Uh, I think it's dangerous, and I see no point to it. I don't like being upside down. So anyway, um, I've been hoping to go home, maybe in about 7 or 8 days. Home, and not just my family, although they've been wonderful. Cartwheels, never could do a cartwheel, not even one. When I was young and foolish, maybe 7, 8 years old, I used to try it. No, certain things I see no point in risking my life to do something so unimportant. But I love watching other people do cartwheels. They're athletes and, often professionals, or they're cheerleaders, and cheerleaders are athletes. Anyway, got my morning coffee and my morning water and my morning potato chips and crackers and chocolate. I really should eat some real food. Maybe I will. I've got shredded wheat and almond milk. I can eat dairy. I can drink milk and eat cheese and all that stuff. But Betty can't, so. Oh, there's string cheese in the refrigerator and sliced turkey. Well, that's for lunch. Reading anything good? Well, my short story, my most recent one that I wrote, is supposed to be out by Christmas in an anthology with stories and poems from a variety of writers. My story is titled The Mirror Cracked, and the anthology is entitled Mirror Maze. So I'll write that down in chat. Mirror Maze. Well, here's I hit the I twice. It's an anthology. Now this just has to be a winning lottery ticket, and I'll tell you why. Okay, my story is called The Mirror Cracked. The anthology is called Mirror Maze. And then the publisher is Fractured Mirror. Oh, come on. Mirror has some R's in it. And once again, my story is titled The Mirror Cracked. It has a cat and a mirror and a doomsday scenario. And it should be out by Christmas. And we're looking for people to, it reflects well for me. Thanks, Tim. We're looking for people to get advanced review copies and promote the anthology. The publisher is rather new, so I'm sorry, we aren't sure how the God. Got throat itches. We are not sure how they will handle advanced review copies. Hi. Ever get a tickle in your throat that won't go away? That's what I've got, a tickle in my throat. By the way, one of my exercises that I'm supposed to do is coughing. Take 3 deep breaths and then cough. Keep those lungs clear because I've been, inactive, not doing much. Anthology of mirror sci. Well, there's some sci-fi, some fantasy. It tends to be a little on the dark side. Even my story. I don't want to give you spoilers. Oh, and in the latest issue of Emanations, what they call it, Emanations Octo. In other words, it's volume 8 of the Emanations series. Hey, I don't know what this computer is doing sometimes. Emanations Octo has an excerpt from my work in progress on Philip K. Dick's exegesis. I haven't submitted anything to PKD Otaku recently, but otaku is a Japanese word for fandom. Um, I get it. I read it for the articles by oops, Frank Bertrand. He's one of the people who I'm not by, not nine. Okay, Frank is one of the people who make that publication possible. PKD Otaku. Um, Nick Buchanan does the layout and artwork. Frank Bertrand is one of the editors, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name of the third guy. Um, ah, anyway, you can check out PKD Otaku online. They the digital version is free. But anyway, so I've been reading, but there's also I'm working on book reviews of several science fiction books, a novel, a short story collection, and I forget what the third one was, by Anthony Fusila or Fusilia. It's Italian. He's an Italian born and raised in London, England. So he speaks British English with a slight Italian accent. I love his voice. He's on YouTube in various places and on Facebook. Anyway, I'm trying to remember the titles of his books and I'm blanking on that too. One is about Mars, one is about robots. One is a story collection, but the one about Mars is a novel. He's um, basically a philosopher, um, but he knows his science, and the science fiction is pretty good. I generally simply don't write reviews of books and stories that I don't like. One notable exception was Blade Runner 2049. I watched it, then I watched it again, taking notes, and then I watched it a third time just to make sure, and I didn't like it because of the flaws. I could have forgiven Denis Villeneuve, the director, for showing me 2 hours of dusky orange landscapes and dark blue interiors if the story made sense, but it doesn't. The plot is just all over the place, and there are things that don't follow. And I've probably said this before, But why does the bad android Love have to go to the police station and commit a gory murder to get to the police computer? She's looking for Officer K. And they've already established that the police computer cannot find him because he wiped the hard drive on his computer. But Love doesn't need the police computer anyway because she's already tracked Officer K with a device that her company sells. Officer K has a virtual girlfriend in a little portable device that he carries with him, and she can hack into it because her company makes that device. So the scene where she uses the police computer is just plain wrong. Oh, the birth scene. Tim, what didn't you like about the birth scene? Oh, yeah. They just kind of drop her on the floor. That was really strange. Yeah, more than a little cruel. Yeah, he Tyrell, I think is it Tyrell or what? No, it's whatever. The owner of the corporation. He destroys this brand new android as if she were just let's say uh, a ping pong ball that isn't round anymore. So you smash it and toss it in the trash. Well, I wouldn't do that to a goldfish. As if she were just an object, not a living thing. But I guess they want to emphasize the cruelty of producing biological robots to work as slaves. And I don't see where the ability to get pregnant and give birth has anything to do with either the desire or the right to revolt and gain freedom. For one thing, about almost half of all humans can't give birth. They're men. Uh, I don't know. Anyway, I knew I had taken this title of my story, The Mirror Cracked, from some other author, so I had to keep asking friends till one of them knew it was the title of an Agatha Christie murder mystery. So in this post-apocalyptic story about a woman and her cat, the mirror plays a prominent role. I haven't actually read the other stories that will be in the anthology. Some of them are available to me and others are not. The whole thing. Now, Blade Runner, the first one that came out in '82, it's a decent movie. It's tightly plotted. There are some problems and some flaws, but the story makes sense. Um, let's see, Harrison Ford. What is this? Every time I talk about Blade Runner, either I know the actor's name or I know the character's name, but I can't get both in my head at the same time. Well, Harrison Ford's character is, in a sense, getting revenge because the androids, one of the androids, murdered his colleague and friend Deckard. Yes, thank you. Um, I mean, the colleague is kind of still alive on massive life support, but well, anyway, so in a sense, Deckard is looking for revenge, but toward the end, he learns that these androids are not simply evil. I think it was brilliant to have Roy Batty. Oh, now that actor was one of the greatest. Now I don't remember the actor's name. I loved his role in Lady Hawk. Rutger Hauer. I actually like him much better in Lady Hawk than in Blade Runner. But when Batty's supposed to be Beatty in the book. Anyway, when he saves the human's life, it shows some of the empathy that Phil was after in his writing. These androids are not mere machines. And even in the novel, do androids dream of electric sheep? The androids are capable of forming friendships. They all get together in the apartment, the conapt, short for condominium apartment, and they interact as friends. They aren't friends with humans, but um, humans have enslaved them. And I don't think Ridley Scott's first attempt at Blade Runner really got it. He didn't understand that it was about slavery. The second movie obviously does show that it's about slavery, but it just fails at whatever it was attempting to do. Really, really disappointing. In actual real world slavery, going back 3 or 4 thousand years at least, slaves were property. And the owner of a slave could kill that slave, and it was not murder. But if someone else killed your slave, that was a property crime. On the other hand, the ancients did develop certain laws about keeping slaves, like providing them with food and clothing, and providing a way for them to win their freedom. And um, slaves throughout history actually, in most cases, have been allowed to have days off for rest and to, if they choose, to do work for money on their days off. But it is a lot like the androids in Phil's novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? The ancients, much of what we know about ancient societies comes from the tablets, the Sumerian tablets and other tablets written in cuneiform. I don't know why people can't pronounce that word. It isn't cuneiform. It's cuneiform. The CU, the NE, the I, and the form. Cuneiform. I don't know the origin of the word, but I should look that up. Word origin cuneiform. Comes from cuneus, Latin for wedge. Yeah, they use a stick, a wooden stick with a wedge on the bottom to poke their letters into the clay. That makes sense. So it isn't cuneiform. It's from cuneus. It's cuneiform. People in the media drive me nuts. For example, we have this town nearby called Azusa. Now, it doesn't seem difficult to pronounce, but they can't do it. They call it Azusa or Azusa. They can't manage Azusa. Now, there are some words that really are difficult. Let's see. We have this street in Los Angeles. La Cienega. 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 It floods every winter when we get rainstorms, and the city has gates that they close when the roadway floods. And there's an aquifer there, water storage. Well, they shouldn't be surprised since La Cienega is the Spanish for the swamp. But that's hard to pronounce if you are just reading it off a script and you've never heard it. I have the advantage because I grew up in Culver City and I heard people saying these words before I ever saw them written down. Another common one is this. Sepulveda. And of course, people who've never heard it pronounced try to sound it out, and it does look like Sepulveda, but it's Sepulveda. It's a family name from the history of Southern California. We have many street names and city names that are difficult to pronounce, but Azusa is easy. And they get that wrong. Shame on them. And depending on how old you are, on the Jack Benny show, the announcer for the train station would say, leaving on track 9 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga. Cucamonga, people don't tend to get that one wrong, even though it looks rather difficult on the face of it. Cucamonga. Well, people got tired of people making fun of Cucamonga. To say something was very far away, they'd say it's all the way to Cucamonga and back. So now they call it Rancho Cucamonga and Rancho for short. One that drives me nuts is the site of that music festival out in the desert near Palm Springs. It's just become, and people admit they do it because they're lazy. They just call it Coachella. But that's another Spanish word. It's Coachella or Coachella, but not Coachella. Ah, well, it's become standard now. It's Coachella. Ah, jeez. I knew I was up too early. My brain is fried. I remember yet. Oh, Woodstock, Yaskers Park. I was too young to go to Woodstock. Probably a good thing. I was too young for the Summer of Love at Haight Ashbury in San Francisco. Very good thing. It resulted in more uh, unwed mothers. Uh, yeah. And even by the time I turned 18 in 1972, it still was not socially acceptable to be pregnant and unmarried. They'd have you do homeschooling if you were still in high school. Well, the problem with the Summer of Love in Haight Ashbury was that too many men took it as an opportunity to jump into bed with as many women as possible just for fun. That isn't love, that's sex. There's a difference. Yeah. Well, I was busy trying to find a job so I could earn money and get myself a horse. I wanted a horse so badly. Finally got a job and a horse. And boy, all those books I read about horses, whether they were novels or nonfiction, they didn't tell you the half of it. the smells, the flies, mucking out the stall. Oh, sure, they mentioned it, but the reality, every day after school, I'd go to work. Every day after work, I'd go muck out the horse's stall and feed him. Uh, I got to ride the horse here and there. Oh, and he had to have his hooves trimmed regularly and all, have the vet check him out. Oh, hi, Don. Good morning. I'm just rambling now. Been on for a while. 40 some odd minutes. Pennsylvania. Well, I'm in beautiful North Fontana, Southern California. It's been cooler this week. The highs have been in the 90s instead of the low hundreds. Some days were as hot as 110. We would love to have a rainy morning. I want back on my mountain so bad. Maybe next week. Well, we get heat waves. It is August. But all my tomatoes are coming ripe, and other people are eating them because I'm not home to pick them and eat them. My cat won't even know me anymore because someone else is feeding her. A raccoon got into the house, and I wasn't there to chase it away. Wow. And the Crestline Lioness Yard Sale happens this coming weekend. I really don't want to be there for that, though. It'll be too much for me. For one thing, I'll buy things I don't need just 'cause. And for another, would be overwhelming. The excitement, the stress, I wouldn't be able to just sit and rest in the house. I'd have to go out and walk around with my walker and so forth. Now it's with masks and social distancing and hand sanitizer, but still, the last thing I need right now is a virus of any sort. Not just COVID, but any old virus, a cold, the flu, the measles, anything. Wow. Oh, my tummy. Wow. It's just, well, you see, it's morning and I want a cigarette, but this is a non smoking house, so I'm not smoking in the house. And I am not quite able to carry the computer outside to do my little YouTube streams. Laptops are, oh, I have to hold on to the walker with both hands, and it doesn't have any carrying thingy, no tray or basket or anything. And so it isn't so much that the laptop is heavy or anything like that. It's just that I don't want to drop it and break it. However, yesterday, for the first time, the physical therapist had me lift my feet when I walk and not just slide across the floor. This house has nice, slick wood. Well, they're probably fake wood, but they look like wood floors. You know, that vinyl stuff that looks like wood. Anyway, they're nice and slippery, and I can slide along without lifting my feet, and therefore without putting weight on the bad foot. But now they want me to actually walk, lifting my feet. So the main purpose of the walker right now is so I won't fall. At first it was to get my weight onto my arms so I would not hurt my hip. My hip still doesn't hurt. My knee is killing me. And the muscles in my thigh are aching. But my hip doesn't hurt. Tim has a theological question. Okay, ask away. I can't guarantee that I know the answer. I'm not a theologian, but I'm learning. Ah, sorry. I guess I did wake up too early. I woke up a little before 6. Uh, I'm waiting for Tim to post his question. See, I come here for the chat room, the live chat. Not for the, not to just rattle away at you, but if you have a question, please post it. Okay. Isn't there a legend about Mary dropping a dress or bodice from the sky? Huh. Never heard of it. That must be a Catholic thing. I'm a Baptist. A legend about Mary dropping a dress or bodice from the sky. Lathe of Heaven, of course I read that. I saw the PBS movie too. Yeah, Ursula K. Le Guin. That is so much like a Philip K. Dick novel, The Lathe of Heaven. I think there was a second movie made from that, but I saw the PBS movie. It is an amazing book in which this guy goes to his psychiatrist, a woman, of course, and he says that his dreams are changing reality, but I won't give away the spoilers. James Caan, he was awfully young back then, I believe. The Girdle of Thomas. Well, Tim, I'm just not familiar with that legend of Mary and the girdle and all that. It just doesn't ring any bells. Now, I'm not one of those people who say, if it isn't in the Bible, it isn't true. It's just that I'm focusing on the Bible right now and not on traditions. It's definitely has to be a Catholic thing. They are so into relics. Every church has to have some kind of relic, a piece of ancient history. Ah, Tim Googled it. Well, I'm not so much into miracles either. Technically, the word miracle just means something to look at. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was impossible without divine intervention. It just means it's amazing. And, miracles do happen. But the bean counter type of scientist seems to think if they can offer a scientific explanation for how this miracle happened, they think they've debunked it. No, they've proven that miracles do happen, but, you know, favorite book by Phil, oh, that's hard. It's hard to pick, and it changes over time. And I haven't read his books in ages, and I've never read all of them. I reread Ubik and Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. If you ask about a favorite story, it has to be Rude, in which the dog is barking at the aliens who are stealing their trash. But novels? It depends on when you ask me and what I've read most recently. I suppose at the moment, Martian Time Slip is rising toward the top, but I really have to put Time Out of Joint a little higher on my favorites list. Love Time Out of Joint. Oh, the title, of course, was taken from, oh dear, a Shakespeare play. I think it was Hamlet, in which one of the characters says, "The time is out of joint." Favorite book by Phil. Yeah, I do like one of his mainstream novels an awful lot. The Man Whose Teeth Were All Exactly Alike. I like that one. I couldn't get into the in Milton Lumke territory. I think it was one of his fantasies. I hear a kitty cat. Galactic Pot Healer. Yeah, that's pretty good. I haven't read the Humpty Dumpty from Oakland novel. What you doing, Yoshi? Kitty cat. She's making her sound that her brother Frisky is about to jump on her. Marianne the Giant. Oh, it's my brother coming down to open the blinds for Yoshi. I thought she was just greeting Steve. Well, anyway, I've been on for nearly an hour, and I have to recycle some coffee. Doing my live YouTube. Yeah, but I'm wrapping it up because I gotta recycle some coffee. So I think I'll leave it here and maybe come back on later. I was supposed to do this yesterday when I overslept and then we got busy. Okay, guys, remember to pray for Betty to heal and come home and be well. And for me to go home. I have 5 listeners at the crack of dawn. And I'll catch you guys later. I'll come on YouTube when I have time and energy. Here we go.